Now that Royce got born real fast too. Here he is.
6 months later.
Here comes our...
There's Rice.
Our Boston Terrier.
That isn't your Boston.
Well, it was back there when he started to sail.
Yeah, there she is, sitting underneath the bassinet. Judy.
In our backyard,
Looked a lot more primitive in those days.
we need some sound effects of Judy barking there. That puppy's mother died, right? When they were born, when the litter was born. So she was raised on the bottle. There's our rubber ducky.
Yeah. Now here's
First
the
modernization of the Axtels.
Frank and what was his brother's name? They were digging the sewer trench there.
Frank Hastings.
Frank Hastings and his brother.
Can't remember his name.
Now here we are in the cook backyard.
That's our dryer.
Our modern dryer.
Out and back.
Looks like our modern toilet out and back too.
Where?
It was. I did see it back there.
Now we're in front of in the front yard. Our front porch as it was in those days.
Now, was Izzy down the line from that dog, or totally different?
Totally different. The folks down here at the that run the little store across Williams Street had these puppies.
What was their name?
Can't remember. Before that, Frederickson's.
Yeah.
She had a screw tail where
Yeah.
Isabel just had no tail. Yeah, fast forward this. Oh, I thought these were the cartoons coming in.
Oh, no, not yet.
Royce was quite the actor. He loved to have his picture taken. Who is that on in the cartoons that's always got his back door unbuttoned?
I don't know.
It isn't Dennis, is it?
Now we're out in Omaha at my Uncle Lloyd and Aunt Alda's place. There's their daughter by adoption.
Can't remember her name even, can you? What did you have on your head?
Well, she had put some
Dorothy.
sort of curlers in my hair or something of that sort, or clamps.
On their back porch, standing on their back porch. This was a niece of
Niece of Alda's.
Aunt Alda. This is
There's their youngest son, boy.
this niece had a heart condition that she wasn't able to walk. I don't think at the time even.
Well, I think she did some.
They carried her, I think, most of the time.
Looks like Aunt Alda's stirring up some frosting for a cake.
She's still in. It was good too.
There's a neighbor boy with his little white rat.
She later was able to work for some time in an office, I think, and before she died.
There's Uncle Lloyd and his chow dog.
Lloyd was your father's number what? 3 or 4 brother?
No, just about the next in line after him. Now we are at my grandfather's farm near Clary Center, Nebraska, and my Uncle Ed and grandfather are out there stacking some bundles of wheat because it's they're not quite ready to thrash. Here we are in the backyard of the farmhouse at the windmill.
There's Dorotha with Royce.
There's Grandpa and Grandma Cook with Royce.
That's Therion's grandpa. So that would be great grandpa to Royce.
Yeah, Royce's great grandpa. Apparently something was wrong with the well. Some of Uncle Ed's boys were having to get down there and see about it. I don't know just what it was, but
Uncle Ed again.
There's one of the boys with George on the bicycle.
George is the smaller one, right?
Yeah, George was the one riding on the. There's
your dad.
Emery Cook at the well at the other place on
That's your
down
stepmother.
where Grandpa and Grandma lived. Here we're back at the farm where Uncle Ed and Lillian lived.
It's Uncle Ed, but it's George, isn't it?
There's George standing up there, and Uncle Ed just been putting some overshoes on Royce, hasn't he? And there goes Lois Cook.
It was wet out there. We didn't want Royce getting his shoes wet.
There's Virginia Cook. I think she just stuck her tongue out. George climbing up the porch post. Lois walking back to the house.
That's me sitting up against the post. Here comes Doris out the door. Doris Cook. Virginia and me sitting. Okay, who's the boy? Is that George again?
Yeah, that was still George.
There's Royce. Maneuvering the overshoes pretty well for as small as he was.
Spindly legged.
It was Doris.
Here comes Uncle Ed and Lois carrying Vivian.
Uncle Ed's daughter.
She was just too bashful or something to come out on her own. Here come some of the boys walking up the lane.
Notice the cream separator. Was it still on the porch? It was back there.
Now this is Earl getting in the tub there or something, washing. There we are out in along the road in a ditch filled with water on some kind of a piece of a building. And Emery Cook riding up the lane on a bicycle, tipping his hat.
Grandpa with Royce. Grandma wouldn't even hold him because she was afraid he'd break. He was so thin.
Grandma was trying to get Royce to come to her, but he doesn't seem much inclined that way. Vivian standing in the background.
That was Grandma, great-grandma, over to the right a while ago.
There's Grandpa with Lois and Vivian.
So 4 generations would have been there that day, right? With Royce, maybe 4?
We had some still pictures of the 4 generations.
Is this the train that we left from Omaha on after our visit with
I don't know.
Ed and Lillian? Must have been. I don't know how it was in this sequence just there.
I think probably it was just over here at the station.
Oh, it wasn't over here at the station. That was what we. That was definitely the Omaha station there.
Well, anyway, we were back in Ottumwa there.
Yeah. And Royce can't hardly wade through the tall grass.
We didn't have an electric mower then.
Or gas.
There's our twins, Curtis's twins that have grown up quite a bit. Well, that's Paul, though, in the background.
Yeah.
That's Paul. There's Mary. Royce. We've backed up a little in time here, I think, haven't we?
Somehow these movies just haven't been quite the right sequence.
It's hard to get them exactly. There's Royce with the neighbor's dog. What was his name?
I don't
It was
remember.
Phillips's dog. You'll notice how fast he gets from the front door to the back. Shuts the door. Now he's on the back.
Cellar door.
That's where our big room was later built on. That was our source of water supply in those days. And there's our bathtub too over on. That pump, you had to prime it. You had to save a little water before you went to get some more because you had to pour some water down the top of it in order to get it to pump. That was quite a deal to have to pump all that water that you washed with, like on Sunday night, so you could start washing early the next morning.
Here we are down in Fairfield again. In the backyard by the chicken pen, I think.
It's Grandpa's big garden. There I am. There's my mother coming up through the garden with some cabbage, I think, for dinner. Wasn't that a wooden plank for a sidewalk out and back?
Yeah, for a ways.
There's Dorothy and her mother and Grandma's chickens.
And there's Therion Cook digging some potatoes. He seems to have had a lot more hair back then.
Even got in his eyes. Lost one.
Oh.
Now we're back in Ottumwa again.
Royce out in the pile of tile be laid for in the basement wall.
Some more of those jumpers. I don't think we got a picture of him with his overalls on. Judy.
Here we are at home at 248 South Davis, January 21st, 1942, apparently.
I think that date was wrong because Royce wasn't that old.
He said his overalls he's got on.
Yeah. Those little jumpers that we made for the kids.
Well, he ought to have been, he was born in 40, he ought to have been, look.
He's not that old in this picture, though. We decided that the other night, don't you remember? Because in 42, Gordon was born in September of 42. Royce wasn't much more than a year old there.
Well, I think he was.
Okay.
Now we're going to have a little bit of pounding. Royce's first piano solo. Here he is, sitting on his mother's lap while she's doing some sewing at the sewing machine. And he's now in his pajamas, and they have a little bit of something to eat, I think, before going to bed. And
This was a bedtime snack. He wasn't a very big eater until later. After his brother Gordon came along, then he had to fend for himself pretty much. He got to eating. He loved his tricycles.
his tricycle wouldn't run off with him one time, though. And his mother got after him and spanked him, and he thought she should have spanked the tricycle.
The tricycle ran off too. I used a switch instead of spanking him. Probably stung worse. There's Jess and Lois coming to visit us. Boy, we got to Fairfield in a hurry.
I thought we saw. Is this another time we were down there? Yes, I guess this has to be another time.
Lois and Royce. Jessie and Royce and Lois. The big old schoolhouse in the background.
Here we are downtown.
Downtown?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay.
just walking home from downtown. Out in the schoolyard swing. Back home again, Royce on his tricycle. There goes Mrs. Axtell and Mary. You wouldn't know 'em, would you?
A little tractor, probably. He always carried that little rubber tractor around with him.
Royce always seemed to enjoy playing by himself with his little tractor or whatever happened to be handy. Out here by a pile of dirt that I've thrown out of the basement in the process of digging the basement. Hasn't been hauled off yet.
Enlarging the basement, we'd say. We had a little cellar to begin with. Enlarging the basement took 2 or 3 installments, didn't it?
Yeah.
We finally had a man to come and finish digging it out. There's Judy again. Because of war rations or whatever, she wasn't getting the right kind of food and died at a fairly early age. We had to have her put to sleep. Which was it?
I think we had to have her put to sleep. She was getting full of ulcers or something of that sort. And
There's Royce Cook with his dad, Therion.
And who's the little girl there?
Nancy Clark, daughter of
Pauline Clark.
flowers along the. There's
Mrs. Lawrence Phillips, B. Phillips.
that's their backyard, right? They live next door to us on the north. It was a pretty yard in those days.
No buses. No buses in the backyard.
Those are some of our flowers, though.
Yeah, those are some of our flowers out here at where our back porch now is.
Now this would have been the summer, probably right before Gordon would have been born.
Apparently.
Since I had some colored film, I had to try to get some color in it. Here's Royce having climbed to the top of one of those piles of dirt that was at the side of the house.
Top of the mountain. It's Phillips's house. The back. Here's our dryer, electric dryer again. There's my father, William Reynolds. It's a real good picture of him. Yeah? The hat fits real well.
Was that Grandpa Reynolds' hat he had on?
Yeah, that was Grandpa's hat.
Now, would they still have been down at Fairfield by that time? For a long time?
He lived there till he died.
So they've been over visiting.
Here are some girls from down the street. Some Murray girls.
There's Mary Axtell. And Grandpa.
And Phyllis.
It's just between us and the Murray house next door before they raised it and put it on a foundation. Phyllis thinks she's going to ride Royce's tricycle.
He's oldest.
One of them was by his first wife.
Oh dear. So that was
Gordon.
really.
Gordon.
We'll see more of Gordon later.
Young marrieds, apparently with small children. Julie Carroll was coming there, and this is at Partridge on old Partridge on Willard Street. Jack Strunk and Dick are they're apparently entertaining the smoke leaders. Small child. Folks there, she and her husband are the Whites, and I'm not sure just where they're from. But they're staying there with the Shields. And Brother Shields is standing there with the bicycle. Looked like he'd like to hop on and take a ride. He was pastor at the time. I recognize this fellow on the bicycle. I think he was someone that I knew down in Hutchinson, Kansas, but I can't call his name. This is a picture of Sister White singing a solo on one Sunday morning. And here's a crowd assembling after church. to have a photograph taken.
Those folks were the evangelists. This is a different time.
Yeah, apparently this has to be a different time because
Do you like the hat?
there's Viola Yates, is that Gary?
Yeah. Yes.
We should know the name of this lady with the big hat here.
Viola got somebody's little girl there.
Brother Guest was pastor at this time. There's old Brother George Miller up there on the top step.
You guys have a still picture of this. Kind of seems like I remember seeing a still picture.
Those folks were the evangelists, right there. That is, was Blossom, whatever her first name was.
Formerly, Therion. You see him? Now there is,
Doris Dean Pro.
yeah, Doris and Dean Pro's wedding. Now we're out to
That's the little guy. Come here, Thomas. What are you talking about, the little guy?
our church youth in a volleyball game.
That Daniel Shelton.
Yeah, that was Daniel Shelton there facing the camera a little bit ago. There's Frank Strunk.
Daddy Hastings.
And Norton Roberts.
Frank Strunk.
Lloyd Yates.
George Milton.
There's,
Volleyball Axtell.
here comes
Mrs. Gass. Sister Gass.
Leon Yates. Brother Guest carrying a container of ice cream, I think.
I forgot what year this is.
There's, now we're at a camp meeting location where at
Cedar Falls.
Cedar Falls, I think.
That is Mrs. Ralph Hatch and her two children. They were pastors at time, I think, in Clinton, weren't they?
Yeah. Here comes Ralph Hatches.
The baby.
Some kids out in the boat on the what is it, Iowa River?
Cedar, I suppose.
Well, maybe it is the Cedar River.
Did you take some of the kids with you that time? I didn't go.
Are you sure?
No, I wasn't there. Oh, that was at Iowa Falls, because there's the air. That had to be Iowa Falls, because that was the swinging bridge.
There's couldn't even call her name.
I have gone a time or 2 or 3 times up to Iowa Falls. That was the Baptist campground. And I went up there as a Baptist. I was a young person. So that is Iowa Falls. Must have been Iowa Falls when we thought it was Cedar Falls back there.
That's Ralph Hatch up at bat. I think this was a game of the pastors playing some of the youth.
Is that Phil, or an oldest guest boy?
No, I don't think he was old enough to be playing then.
No, but I mean that kid that was following his dad.
I think when people play ball, wear their hats, tie, and white shirt. Probably their shoes with the boat shoes I have right here.
And wingtips?
Yeah, probably wear wingtips too. All made of suit pants. Good pants.
They sure aren't good hitters.
Takes 45 years.
It must have been taken in slow motion, wasn't it? That was Flossie Yandel's father, wasn't it?
Yeah, and this, what's her name? At Madrid?
Opal Lehman?
Opal Lehman? There go the duties, or brother duty at least. There's sister duty talking to some of the women.
That's what it is, sister duty. They do all their duty. And you're supposed to have a little kidney pouch in that
Here come the Hatches. Ralph's carrying one of the boys, and I guess she's going to be holding on to the other one.
Royce. It was a little overcoat legging outfit that he had on, and it was kind of hard to travel in. Warm, but
Here's Gordon.
he had been born on September the 23rd, the year before, the fall before. The lights were kind of bright. That's how come he's ducking his head. See? Ooh.
Judy's getting acquainted with Gordon.
He still hasn't found his thumb, though, like he did later on. He was a real thumb sucker.
Is this where he's starting to find his thumb?
He's hunting for it.
Lois Cook visiting while...
No, she wasn't visiting. She was living here at that time.
Oh, was she living here and going working at Morell's?
Yeah. Dorotha reading about the war that was going on. That's a picture of Hitler that I'm showing there. Therion in his bib overalls, working out some kind of a title on his new titler, right? It was kind of unusual for you to have both of your straps buckled at the same time, though.
Oh, I thought that was just when I was at home that I went around with one of them unfastened.
No wonder Dorothy couldn't say no to that.
Oh, you sent that clip off to Hollywood.
It's Royce in his new rocking chair.
Also, he's got a pair of new boots on there, too.
Oh boy, cowboy boots. I made that little pants thing for him. The little stars up there. It was his birthday. Right. Yeah. The third one.
And he wouldn't have anything to do with his cake.
That was before he started eating much. That was before the checkerboard cakes. This was just a plain chocolate, I believe.
Sure looks good.
He's more interested in his book. What was the name of that book that he just about wore completely out?
Good. Long walk.
Mike even wonders how come he turned that down. Lois, this was Sunday dinner.
It was?
Here's chocolate cake. Oh yeah, he's watch on.
Didn't we have ice cream?
I doubt it. I don't know. There's Royce in front of our old radio. It was quite a radio.
Learning how to sew. Sitting on it. Well, there we come with Gordon.